Everyone, good morning, everyone. Let me welcome you to MedZone African Motives. We are still on live orientation grade level, term one notes, and today we are on chapter 3. We are on our chapter 3, which is democracy and human rights. We are on democracy and human rights. So without losing much time, let's get to it. We are going to talk about principle, processes, and procedure for democratic participation. So now we are on participation. So public participation. What does it mean when we are talking about, when we are saying this, when we're talking about public participation? It means taking part. It means taking part in activities that involve the community, that involve community, taking part in activities that involve community, it involves community or government. That is that. So, as it says, to be involved with others in doing something, to take part in activity or event, that is participation. That is when you're talking about participation. You are involved with others in doing something. Like we've said, is that this way take part in activities that involve community or government because it says it's public participation. Or to take part in activity or an event. So you participate publicly when. So we are going to say you participate publicly when you stand for elections. When you stand for elections. For example, running to be a councillor in your town. So when you are running to be a councillor in your town, it means you stand for elections and you are participating publicly. Attend community meetings. So attending community meetings, for example, going to a ward meetings to discuss service delivery. When you go to ward meetings to discuss service delivery, you are as well participating publicly when you are attending community meetings. Join civil or political organizations. So by joining political civil organizations, that is, for example, joining a youth club or a political party. That is that. Vote in elections. Or voting in elections. Yeah, they wanted to write vote in elections. That's the main mistake. It's voting in elections. Voting in a national or local elections when you turn 18. So when you are 18 above now, you can now vote in national as well as local elections. So you are participating publicly. You are involved now in activities that involve community or government. Pay taxes. For example, adults pay adults paying pay as you earn tax, which funds services. Protest and petition. So protesting or petitioning, it's when you are signing a petition dangerous to a dangerous route. That is that. So now we move on. Why the public participation is important. Public participation is important because, so here we want to know why it is important. Why it is important. That is that. They are saying, make sure leaders do not abuse their powers. So it prevents leaders from abusing powers. So it means it prevents leaders from abusing power. That's one important of public participation. It prevents leaders from abusing power, ensures that the public needs and concerns are assessed. So it ensures government knows people needs. It ensures government knows people's needs. Knows people's needs. That is that. That's the importance of public participation. Helps to inform government about people's needs and concerns. So it helps make sure services and plans are carried out. Helps make sure services and plans are carried out. And plans are carried out. And also helps to see that things get done. So that is that. Now we are moving on to petition process. Petition process. So they say a petition process is a written document that people sign to show that they want a person or organization to change or to do something. So it's a written request, meaning to say it's a written request signed by many people to ask the government or organization to change. So that is a written request that is sent by many people, whereby they are asking government or organization to make a change. That is that. For example, a community sign a petition to request a new clinic in their area. Hope you understand it. So they are requesting by signing that to a government to do what? To bring in new clinic in their area. So that is that. It is a formal request asking government to do something about a matter. So that is that. So it is a formal request asking a government to do something about the matter. So you are asking a government to attend to a matter. Now we come to governance now. So governance, when we're talking of governance, they say it is the way that countries controlled or managed by people who run it, according to the constitution. So our countries run on a system of cooperative governance, various levels of good governance. So we are saying, in short, that is the way a country is managed by those in power. South Africa uses cooperative governance, meaning all levels of government work together. That is that. So they're saying good governance allows participation and provides feedback to the people. So this is where we are saying we are talking about participation, allowing people to give their input, allowing people to give input. So you allow people to bring in their ideas, their opinions, their views So you give allowance for the inputs, and that is very important. And then you provide feedback to the people. Is transparent, is open to public, does not try to hide its actions. You have to hear what transparency with people. So government is open, not hiding actions. So we are saying government is open. Government is open. Yeah, and is not hiding any action. That is that. Delivers basic human rights. Delivering of basic human rights like water, healthcare, and as well as safety. So that this delivery of basic human rights is efficient and effective. So getting things done properly. As you see, getting things. So do we, when you say it is efficient as well as effective, it produces results. So it produces what? The results that one of the good governance produces good results. It protects the environment. Protecting environment, that is using resources wisely. Also, it is accountable, takes responsibility for its actions, performance, decisions by explaining why things are done in a certain way. So that is that it explains decisions and taking responsibility. For example, a municipality reporting how it spent public money, that is accountability that you're talking about. So now let us move on with people. Let us move on to representation. Let us move on to representation. So it is that through elections, people are voted in to represent, speak on behalf of a certain group of people. So, meaning to say, when you hear about representation, when you hear about people elect leaders to speak and act on their behalf. We are saying people elect leaders to speak and act on their behalf. And act on their behalf. That is that. So now it says proportional representation. Proportional representation. So this is a type of representation. You're talking about a type of representation. So with proportional representation, said parties get a certain number of seats in a parliament according to the percentage of votes they get in an election. So people vote their party of their choice. But you have proportional representation, meaning to say people vote for a party and the party gets seats in a parliament based on the percentage of voters. For example, if party gets 10% of votes, they get 10% of seats. Hope you understand. Then another type of representation is constituency-based representation. As it says, countries divided in 14 areas called constituencies. So a constituency is represented by one member of party's choice. People vote for their chosen. That is constituencies based representation. The country is divided into areas. So those areas, you call them what? Constituencies. And each area elects one candidate. Get me straight. Each area elects one candidate. So people are going to vote for their chosen candidate. So, for example, the community votes for specific local candidate or to represent them. That is that. So let us move on. Let us move on to the rule of law. Let us be on the rule of law. Here we are on the rule of law. So the rule of law means everyone. The rule of law means everyone. Leaders and citizens must obey the law. So we are saying leaders and citizens must obey the law. As you're saying, it means everyone. It means everyone. So there are 5 principles that define the rule of law. And then the first one, the government that is accountable. We are saying the government must be accountable. An absence of corruption. So we are saying no corruption. That is another principle that defines the rule of law. Security, order, and fundamental rights. Safety and protection of rights. That's what we're trying to say. An open government that enforces laws and regulations. So we're saying open government that follows rules. Access to justice. Everyone must have access to justice. That is that. So now let us move on to a democratic structures. Democratic structures. Here we are on democratic structures. So it says the Republic of South Africa is a constitutional democracy. It consists of 3 structures. Government consists of 3 structures of government, namely, we're talking about national, we're talking about professional, and as well as local governments. So we are saying South Africa is a constitutional constituency, 3 levels of government, national, provincial, local. And there are 9 provinces, each with its own legislature. And all government powers come from the constitution. That is that. So as it says, the Republic of South Africa is a sovereign domestic state. It is divided into 9 provinces, like I've said, each with its own laws, that is, with its own legislature. So all these structures of government derive their powers and functions from constitution of the RSA, Republic of South Africa. So we are saying these 9 provinces, each of its own, it has what? A provincial legislature. So that is that. So as we can see here, we have national, we have provincial, we have as well as local. So national is a broad policy, legislation, inter-provincial issues. So provincial is a policy, legislation, services, and this one is services by laws. So now let us move on. So here we are on, again, national government. We have National Assembly. So the National Assembly consists of between 350 and 400 members elected for a period of 5 years. That is their term. That is the duration of the term. So we have what? National Council of Provinces, that is NCOP, National Council of Provinces. So you can see that we have all our 9 provinces. Here they are. So NCOP has 90 delegates and 10 from each province. So that is that. So now we are on national government. We are now on national government. So as it says, National Assembly is the supreme lawmaking body in the RSA. Laws made by the National Assembly are applicable throughout the Republic of South Africa. So National Assembly makes laws that apply to the whole country. That is what we are saying. So the same is true of policies made by the Cabinet of National Government, while there are areas of exclusive legislature competence for the National Assembly. The National Assembly shares its legislative authority with provincial legislature. So you know even that in the national government, we have parliament, which is equal to National Assembly plus NCOP. So that is that. So also parliament consists of 2 houses, National Assembly and National Council of Provinces. Meaning to say that's when we're talking about our parliament. We are trying to say our parliament is equal to National Assembly plus national sorry, plus NCOP, which is a National Council of Provinces. So that is that. The National Assembly is elected for a term of 5 years and consists of no fewer than 350, no more than 400 members. So members are elected in accordance with electoral systems based on common voters' roll with minimum age of 18 years, resulting in a system of proportional representation. So, as we have said that members of the national of the members of the National Assembly is 3 to 450 members. So get that straight. That are going to serve for the term of 5 years. And they are elected through proportional representation. Hope it's clear to everyone. So now we come to provincial government. So provincial government are bound by the laws and policies passed at the national level, but can develop their own laws, policies within its framework to suit their specific needs. Meaning to say, provincial government must follow national laws because they are bound by the laws and policies passed at the national level. So we are trying to say they must follow national laws, but can also create their own provincial laws. As we have said, they can develop their own laws and policies within this framework to suit their specific needs. So it means they can develop their policies that suit their province. That's what you are trying to say. Also, provincial legislatures may pass their own constitutions subject to the provisions of constitution of the RSA. So they can write or a provincial constitution, but it must follow the national constitution. That's what this point means. So now let us come to the local government. It says local government consists of municipalities whose objectives are amongst their themes to provide democratic and accountable government for local communities, to ensure that the provision of the services to communities and promote social and economic development. So the local government must follow national laws as well, but can also create their own So what I was trying to say, sorry, I'm saying local government includes municipalities. So the local government includes municipalities, includes municipalities. That is that. So their job is to provide local services. So their job is to provide local services like water, electricity, as well as waste removal. So we can make an example where we say municipality fixing street lines or collecting uh, refuse. So that is that. So let us move on to the process for participating in the structures and in the governance and law-making process of the country. And law-making process of the country. So here we are talking about participation in structures, government, and lawmaking, ways people take part. That's what we are talking about. So when people cooperate and work together to develop the country, it's called what? Participation. So people can participate in many ways, for example, through local structures, school governing bodies, community policing forums, as well as laws. So we are saying they can serving in school governing bodies, that is that, or joining community policing forums, working with local councils, participating in laws. So that is that. Ordinary citizens can take part in lawmaking process, and the lawmaking process consists of 12 basic steps. So that is that. So these are our 12 basic steps that we're talking about. The first one is a draft bill is drawn up. Draft bill is drawn up. So meaning a draft bill is written. A draft is introduced to the National Assembly. So you introduced to the National Assembly. The public is allowed to comment on draft. So here talking about the public comments. After public comments were made, the changes to the draft are affected. So that is that there will be changes. Changes are made. The minister represents the bill in parliament. So here we talk about minister presents bill. And then number 6, the bill is given a number. Bill gets what? A number. Parliament studies the bill. So the parliament studies it. Also, we are saying there will be a special committee debates the bill and may ask for public government again. The community affects changes to the bill and send it back to the parliament. Parliament votes on the bill, and if the bill is approved, voted in the National Council of Provinces and COP considers the bill, and they can approve or reject the bill. If approved by the NHOP, sent back to the National Assembly to be passed, and the law is passed, it is signed by the president. So that is that. Now we move on to the role of sport in nation building. Participant and spectator in behavior in sport. So incidents of particular behavior triggers certain behavior. So we're talking about the behavior in sport. Sport in one of the best way to contribute to nation building. So sport builds unity and national pride. We're saying sports builds unity and national pride. And national pride. If participants in sport behave badly, they set bad example as role model. That is that. Bad behavior by players, bad role models. That's what it means. If spectators become frustrated, it could lead to violence and could harm the sporting event. So violent spectators can cause safety issues. So both participants and spectators have responsibility to nation building through good behavior at sport events. So, for example, fans fighting during a match harms nation building. So that is that. Hope we are together on that. Now we come to exposure to positive behavior programs. Positive behavior programs, sport codes of conduct. So sports code of conduct aims to get rid of violent and harmful actions at the recreation and sport facilities. So that is to stop violence. That is to stop violence. Ensure positive, safe, and uplifting environment for spectators and participants. So that is that. You promote safety and fair play. You encourage respect and good sportsmanship. And you end racism in sport. So it also developed a culture of support, safety, fair play, and positive sporting, and ban the racism from sport. That is that. That is that. So now we come to how sport can support or detract from nation building. So here we're talking about what? Is support. We're talking about support. Suppose how sport supports or harms a nation building. Suppose nation building. So build tolerance and understanding and success. So it builds tolerance and unity. Oppose all forms of discrimination. So it fights discrimination. Sport fights discrimination. Builds relationship. Creates friendships and community bonds. Sport creates a friendship and community bonds. Builds unity through hosting international sports events. So we're talking about international events like World Cup. So we bring national pride. So here we're talking about a deterrent. Here we're talking about if spectators, players, match officials, and administrators do not behave in a sporting way, it will detract from nation building. So here we are talking about poor behavior by players or fans, violence or racism or cheating in sport. So that's that. That is that. So this is the end of the presentation. This is the end of our presentation, and this is the end of term 1 on life orientation, grade 11. So make use of this presentation. It will help you, the grade 11s. Thank you for your time.